Hurricane Rafael, a Category 3 hurricane, made landfall in Cuba with gusts that brought about the disconnection of the national power grid. In the United States, Republican Party candidate Donald Trump wins presidential election. And in Palestine, the World Health Organization is currently evacuating 113 patients, mostly children, from Gaza to the United Arab Emirates and Romania to receive medical care. Hello and welcome to From the South. I'm Alejandra Garcia from teleSUR Studios in Caracas, Venezuela. We begin with the news. Stay with us. Hurricane Rafael, a Category 3 hurricane, made landfall on the island of Cuba with strong winds that caused the disconnection of the national power system. According to meteorological authorities, the hurricane reached winds of up to 185 kilometers per hour in several provinces of the Caribbean island. Also, sustained rains were reported in the western region of the country, affecting infrastructures in some localities. In view of the climatic phenomenon, the national government evacuated several citizens and tourists who were in alert zones as part of the state's strategies to safeguard the population. For its part, the Cuban National Electric Union informed through its X account that at 2:30 p.m. local time, strong winds caused by the intense Hurricane Rafael caused the disconnection of the national electric system. It added that contingency protocols are being applied. In Spain, the Italian restaurateur Giuseppe Pericon is currently assisting Valencians with meals as a way to help out the most needed in the Catarroja municipality.
We arrived on Friday. The first day we had 2,500 meals, 2,240 meals. The second day we had about 600 meals left. We gave them all out on the second day and then we went to the supermarket to buy sandwiches while waiting for the other meals to arrive from Italy.
In Cameroon, at least 4 people died following a landslide that occurred on the road in the municipality of Deschamps in the west of the country. Authorities reported that one of the landslides occurred in the morning hours and the second one happened when emergency teams were working at the site. For this reason, they called on the public to stay away from the affected area and urged drivers to respect safety regulations given the magnitude of the damages. Search and rescue operations continue, so the death toll could still increase. In Indonesia, the government is currently working on relocating people as the region remains under the highest level of alert due to the still active W.H.O Laki-Laki volcano, which erupted on Sunday evening. The head of the National Disaster Management Agency, BNPB, Surajanto, advanced that the around 16,086 people are being relocated to thwart future tragedies as thousands of residents live within a 7-kilometer radius of the crater. Most locals, particularly those in high-risk areas, agreed on moving out to safer places. The leader informed that so far the figure of evacuees has amounted to 4,436 people. In the United States, Republican Party candidate Donald Trump became the new president-elect. Donald Trump has won the U.S. presidential election, defeating in the electoral votes count his Democratic contender Kamala Harris, crossing the 270 mark after securing Wisconsin. Trump's victory over Vice President Kamala Harris makes him the first former president to return to power in non-consecutive terms since Grover Cleveland regained the White House in the 1892 election. He is also the the first convicted criminal to win the highest elected office in the United States. Republicans also took over the Senate, flipping seats in Ohio and West Virginia. As a result, this election is considered one of the most significant in the U.S. history, with outcomes that could shape both the nation's future and global politics over the next 4 years. Also in the United States, the Vice President Kamala Harris accepted the results of the presidential election that favored Donald Trump, and she called for a peaceful transfer of power. On a press briefing, the U.S. Vice President admitted her defeat in the electoral race against the Republican candidate and assured that the Democratic Party will be willing to engage in the transfer of power. Harris further underscored that although the undesired outcomes, she will always keep up fighting for gun regulation and the reduction of violence in the country. Likewise, the Vice President added that earlier in the day, she held talks with the President-elect Donald Trump to congratulate him on his victory in the election. Let's listen to her statements.
Now, I know folks are feeling and experiencing a range of emotions right now. I get it. But we must accept the results of this election. Earlier today, I spoke with President-elect Trump and congratulated him on his victory. I also told him that we will help him and his team with their transition, and that we will engage in a peaceful transfer of power.
In this context, in Erie, Pennsylvania, opinions are divided following the election's results.
Right now, I'm shocked. I didn't believe that. Right now, President Trump's leading all the polls. I mean, it really don't matter what Kamala does, and I'm happy for him. I think it's going to make it better for everybody. Yes, I do.
I don't know what the hell is wrong with people. That's why I can explain it. Like, I don't think, honestly, I don't think this country was ready for an African-American woman as president, you know, which is why they voted for Trump.
I'm very disappointed. I think that people voted according to fear and hate rather than what's best for this country long term.
I voted for Trump because he is a businessman, a business person, I should say. Let's not put a gender on it, I guess. I was happy with him when he was in before, and then he lost the second election. And I think I've seen America really make a downfall, and I'm glad he's back in.
Detroit voters woke up to a Trump presidential victory after the unexpectedly large election triumph of President-elect Donald Trump.
A little anxiety, I guess. So I'm kind of neutral. I didn't like either party. So the party is, both parties are not what I grew up knowing. So I'm probably in the population that's in the middle. And I think that our parties are governed by the extremes right now. So I would have liked a different candidate to choose.
I don't agree with other things that he believes in, like the mass deportation and the women's rights and things like that. So I think those are bigger issues than the economy.
I don't want to say on camera, but I'm not happy.
Why?
Because he want to be a dictator. And I don't think he really, I don't think he like people outside his race, so that's not going to be good for me and my people. So, I'm a little disappointed, but it's America.
In Mexico, President Claudia Sheinbaum expressed confidence that the country will keep up not only its sovereignty, but also its good bilateral relations with the United States after Trump's electoral victory.
To all Mexicans, there is no reason whatsoever for concern. To our fellow citizens, their families here, Mexican businesswomen and businessmen, there is absolutely no reason to worry about. Mexico always moves forward. We are a free, independent, and sovereign country, and there will be a good relationship with the United States.
The Chinese government reaffirms that it will maintain its consistent policy towards the U.S. regardless of election results. Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Mao Ning said that they will continue to address the ties with Washington under the principles of mutual respect, peaceful coexistence and cooperation for the benefit of both nations. She also explained that in the last year, high officials of the United States visited China and committed themselves not to decouple the economies, ready for cooperation and respect for the principle of one China. On the other hand, China rejected the recent investment restrictions enacted by the United States and aimed at bilateral trade in sectors such as microchips, artificial intelligence and quantum computing. We're going to take a short break now, but remember, you can join us on TikTok at teleSUR English, where you'll find news in different formats, news updates and more. Welcome back. In Lebanon, the Hezbollah resistance movement denounced Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu's intentions to expand his Zionist project to other territories in the region. The new Secretary General of Hezbollah, Sheikh Naim Qassem, explained Netanyahu's goals to invade Lebanon. The leader further noted that the Israeli Prime Minister is willing to wipe out the Lebanese resistance, occupy Lebanon and change the map of West Asia. In addition, Qassem assured that Hezbollah has sufficient resources both in terms of armaments and forces to confront the Israeli aggression in the country. Likewise, Naim Qassem warned that the United States continues financing the actions of the Israeli regime. Furthermore, the Hezbollah senior representative spoke about the conditions for negotiations.
By the time the Israeli enemy decides to stop the aggression, there is a path for negotiations that we have clearly defined, indirect negotiations through the Lebanese state and President Nabi Berri, who carries the banner of political resistance.
The new Secretary General of Hezbollah, Sheikh Naim Qassem, pointed out the methods used by the Israeli regime in its Zionist project.
The first factor is extermination, slaughtering civilians, injustice, occupation, and brutality. This is what we witness in Gaza and Lebanon.
Naim Qassem assured that the Hezbollah resistance movement will keep fighting for as long as it's necessary, indicating that they will not be defeated by a war of attrition.
If they bet on the duration of the war to turn it into a war of attrition, don't hurry. If they want to establish a war of attrition, we are present. No matter how much time passes, we will stand firm, standing ready, facing them. They will not win even if it is a long time.
The Russian Federation Council ratified the International Strategic Partnership Agreement with North Korea. The Federation Council approved with 191 votes in favor and none against the agreement with North Korea. The Upper House First Deputy Chairman of the Foreign Affairs Committee, Vladimir Dasavarov, emphasized that this partnership between the two countries was based on mutual respect for the sovereignty of states, territorial integrity, and non-interference in internal affairs. The document consists of 23 articles which entail the expansion of cooperation in trade, economy, investment, science and technology, including the fields of space and peaceful nuclear energy. In Spain, the far-right Vox party announced to file a complaint against the Prime Minister Pedro Sánchez for the alleged crimes of reckless homicide and omission of assistance in the tragedy triggered by the passage of Tana storm. In a press briefing, the leader of the far-right party, Santiago Abascal, considered that the situation in Valencia due to the passing of Tana was aggravated due to Sanchez's political actions. Abascal pointed out that the Prime Minister has maintained an insensitive attitude towards those affected, evading the situation by supposedly denying the military deployment and rejecting international aid. This allegation came despite the fact that, according to local media, the executive has deployed almost 15,000 troops to provide assistance in the affected areas. We have a second short break coming up, but before we invite you to visit our YouTube channel at teleSUR English, there you'll be able to rewatch our interviews, top stories, special broadcastings and more. Hit the subscribe button and activate the notification bell to stay up to date on the world's most recent events. Final short break, don't go away. Welcome back to From the South. In Palestine, the World Health Organization is currently evacuating 113 patients, mostly children, from Gaza to the United Arab Emirates and Romania to receive medical care. The World Health Organization representative for the occupied Palestinian territory, Rick Peppercorn, reported that the patients, mostly children with trauma injuries and chronic diseases, have been living in a large convoy via the Kerem Shalom crossing with Israel. By the time they arrive there, the majority will then depart from Ramon Airport in southern Israel to the United Arab Emirates, while others will head for Romania. A mother of a Gazan child injured shared information about her son's health condition. Israeli occupation forces killed several students in Bethlehem after launching toxic gas canisters at schools in the town of Al-Qader. Local media reported that the Israeli military targeted students as they were leaving their schools at the end of the school day. Earlier in the morning, the Israeli military had also fired toxic gas canisters around the Al-Qader secondary school for girls and in the vicinity of local shops, causing suffocation cases among residents. These attacks come amid a recent escalation of Israeli forces' attacks on school children in Al-Qader, with repeated incidents of suffocation injuries caused by tear gas, further heightening tensions in the region. The Israeli occupation forces launched new airstrikes against southern Lebanon. According to local media, Israeli fighter jets bombed several points inside residential areas of the Lebanese capital, Beirut. The attacks left dozens of civilians killed and wounded, as well as significant material and infrastructure damage in several areas. The bombings came shortly after the Israeli forces spokesman for Arab media, Avishai Adrei, issued a warning urging residents of Beirut's southern suburb to evacuate the area. In Caracas, the Venezuela-Russia Business Forum was held to strengthen relations for the sake of social and economic development. The event took place in the facilities of the International Center for Productive Investment. Regarding the meeting, the Russian ambassador in Venezuela, Sergei Melik-Bagdasorov, praised the encounter and assured that both nations are boosting their productive areas. Currently, the diplomat recalled that Russia and Venezuela are enduring sanctions and unilateral coercive measures. Meanwhile, the Executive Vice President of Venezuela, Delcy Rodriguez, highlighted that domestic exports to Russia increased by 453% in non-oil activities between 2022 and 2024. Furthermore, Rodriguez expressed that the country's economic projections show a 10% growth by the end of 2024.
Production is recovering in a process of sustainability with our own efforts, guaranteeing national development, but you should know that the Venezuelan economy should be closing, as the president said, above 9% in 2024. The projections made by the International Monetary Fund are between 4 and 5%. But these are signs of an economy that is showing positive aspects to develop its productive capacities and the great potential that Venezuela also has.
On his keynote address at the first Russia-Venezuelan Business Forum, the Russian ambassador Sergei Melik-Bagdasorov stressed that Moscow is working in conjunction with Caracas to boost the economic development of both nations.
I believe that we are going to be very successful in the future because we have everything we need to withstand the illegal sanctions and unilateral coercive measures. We are going to continue this struggle by building new financial ties. New logistical ties, new commercial ties, transport and tourism ties with all the 18 engines of the Venezuelan economy and the engines of the Russian economy. That is why we are here.
In Argentina, police officers assaulted senior citizens on Wednesday while they were trying to protest against the government of Javier Milei. Argentine retirees denounced that they were beaten by the authorities in the city of Buenos Aires as a way of repressing the social struggles of the sector. During the mobilizations, they had the support of the National University of Central Buenos Aires to show their solidarity with thousands of senior citizens who are suffering the neoliberal measures of Javier Milei. One of their main claims is the lack of medicines, since the pharmaceutical domestic companies do not agree on delivering medicines under the recipe of the National Institute of Social Services for retirees and pensioners. We have come to the end of this news brief, but you can find these and many of the stories on our website at telesurenglish.net and join us on social media. We are on Facebook, X, Instagram, Telegram and TikTok as well. For TeleSUR English, I'm Alejandra Garcia. Thank you for watching.